Hi, I'm Metal Tim from Bravewords, and I'm hanging out with Anthony Nichols from Meliah Rage on the Idle Hands official listening session in Boston. Meliah Rage, Idle Hands, videotape number 1, and probably Boston's only iconic band, celebrating such a landmark anniversary, 30 years of Killing to Survive. How does that even happen? Could you even imagine it from the get-go? We'd be sitting here 30 years later with all the highs and lows in life. How'd you do it?
I don't know. You make a record and you don't really think beyond that record. I should say you don't think 30 years beyond that record.
Sure.
You think about, let's promote that record, and then maybe 6 months later you think about the next record. And then it just kind of kept steamrolling with a couple of big speed bumps in the way.
And I would imagine one of those speed bumps would be releasing records at the peak of the 80s and early 90s, and then this whole grunge phenomena kind of kicked in, and maybe it took the wind out of your sails a little bit.
Well, it definitely took some wind, maybe double wind. Signed in 1988 by Epic, 3 records, and then we could see on the landscape that it was changing. The first tour in 1989 and started in Seattle, and we played a pretty big club. They had flyers on the wall, and I think Soundgarden and one of the other bands was on the board.
Alice in Chains or something.
Yeah, and you kind of sense it was going to change. So, we did our couple of 3 years with Epic, and but you could feel it changing. It was, you had to be there, but
Right.
we were on the tail end of the boom, if you know what I'm saying.
Sure.
Yeah, obviously the boom was 84 to 90. We signed in 88, released in December of 88, and this was really an 89 release. So that was kind of on the tail end, and you could see the big bowling ball coming from Seattle.
Right. And then numerous lineup changes, and the stories just...
Lineup changes, but there's always a rule to this day. There is no Meliah Rage without 3 original members, because we don't want to be that band, and they're out there with 1 original member out of 5.
Right.
And at some point it gets silly. And, there's some bands we played with, and I think we've discussed this, they would have 5 guys in 1990, you play with them 15 years later, and they're not the same 5 guys. We were never going to be that, so it was always 3 original members.